This conference will now be recorded.
You want me to repeat from anywhere? Uma Tulani?
So we didn't record the whole session.
Yes, yes. Yeah. Just now I started recording. I just now seen. Even you should have reminded me. I forgot.
Yes. Even
This conversation will be recorded now.
Yeah, Chandra, we need this session recording.
So
Just
shall we
at
start
least
from the
give
first
a
now?
clarification.
Which one?
Just you can at least show all the windows, and wherever we apply the rules, can you show me once?
Like
Because
view reference you're
yeah,
talking about?
when we implemented, we have some few doubts. That time we can clarify with the videos.
Yeah, okay. So what we have discussed so far? Okay, I think we have discussed about view references, and then we are discussing about primary pages. I mean, these parameters, right? Only those two things.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry for that. So as just told you, if you want to just check for the reference of any rule, what we have to do is we have to click on actions, and there will be something called view reference. So this will be there for each and every rule. Okay, each and every rule we can able to just check for the reference. Click on actions. If we just click on reference, view reference, then we'll be getting a new window, and in the middle we will be seeing this rule what we are referring for. Okay, so this is the rule what I want to check for the reference. So in the left screen we can able to see this particular rule is called into which all the rules. So this is a section. I'm calling this section into this main section. Okay, so wherever the section rule is being used, I will be getting those lists in the left side, and then the right side, what are all the rules that are being used into this one, I can able to get list here. Okay, so this is the section, and I'm trying to use it here. Suppose if you want to just click on the reference, if you want to just check for the references directly for this, you need not open this rule search there, and again need not go for actions tab and retrieve reference. Directly you can able to click on this. If I just click on this, I can able to get the same list again. Okay, so this particular main section rule is being used in one flow action rule. That is what we already know. And in the right side, as I told you, what are all the rules that are being used into this rule, we'll be getting the list here. So in this rule, I'm trying to use this one small section rule, and I'm trying to use one property rule, and these are all the OOTP rules. Okay. And suppose if you want to just check for the view references of this flow action, again click on this. Then we will be getting where all this particular rule will be used. Okay, this flow action rule is being used into this flow rule, and in this flow action I will be using one section rule. Okay, and if I just click on this, I will not be getting anything, I think. Yes, why? Because we are not using this flow rule anywhere. This is the main flow rule. Okay, so this is the flow rule. In this flow rule I will be using these many flow actions and rest all are OOTP, and this is one of the flow action what I have created. And if I want to just check for the reference of this, click on that, then that has to be come in the middle. Okay, now we can able to again click on this section. So this flow action rule is using these many rules. If you click on this section, I should be getting the reference for that sections, meaning I'll be getting this section rule wherever I'm using in this left side, and what are all the rules I'm using into this section in the right side. If you want to open any of the rule, just mouse over on the bottom right, you will be having this option. So that has to be opened automatically in the Designer Studio. Clear now about view references? In real time, we'll be using this a lot. And then after we have discussed about the activities, right? So we have seen how to pass the primary value from the clipboard. So previously we have seen something like primary.custDetail text box. That value will be passed as an input to this particular class as an customer ID. Now what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to create one parameter. So parameter has just been created. I mean, we have just defined the parameter, and that parameter I'm passing it here, and the value, there should be one value passed to this parameter dynamically. Okay, that value will be passed to the parameter from wherever I'm calling this rule. So I'll be calling this rule from here on button click of this. So if I want to go to that main section, what I have to do, I should be directly clicking on that. Else if you don't remember, click on view reference and open it from here. Then we can able to open it directly. Okay, in the real time we will be using this mostly. We can't able to search for each and everything in the app explorer. So this is the place where I'm trying to call for that activity, right? So click on actions. Wherever I'm trying to call for the activity or any rule, if it is having any parameters, then we should be giving the parameters. If you keep that parameter as a mandatory, we should be getting here red color asterisk also, else execution will not happen if you're not giving the value. Okay, so during runtime, what it has to do, on clicking of this button, one section will be refreshed. It should be calling the activity, and before calling the activity there should be one value passed as a parameter to this activity, that is like CSG58, that will be passed as a parameter to this activity, and this activity has to be in a position to capture that parameter by the time it will be there, and that value like CSG58 will be passed as an input to this customer ID of this class. Then we'll be getting the same output. Okay, this is what we have discussed. And in order to make any of the section read only, what we have to do, so click on this dynamic layout, or sorry, click on the settings of that layout, go to presentation tab, and you try to make it read only always in this case. Okay, if you want to make this read only under one expression, you will be getting this expression condition. You can able to give for any conditions. Okay, so this is also we already know. So make this read only, then we can able to make this read only all the time. So clear, right? So the next thing what we want to discuss is, on clicking on search button, if you are getting the proper results, this has to be displayed, else this should not be displayed. For the dummy values, I need not to display this value, this section. Instead, what I want to display, I want to display one error message. Error message should be displayed, and even that error message should be displayed only if the customer results are not coming. If the customer results are coming, that error message should be hidden and this should be visible. So for that, we have to identify the logic, what it is happening at the back end. So for that logic to identify, once you get the logic identified, that value can be passed as an that value can be used in the conditional prospect, right? I can able to make this visible conditionally. So in order to identify the logic of that particular Obj Open, what we have to do, we have to trace it and we have to identify. So for the Obj browse, if you want to just check whether we are getting the perfect result or if you are not getting any of the results, then we have to go for PX result count. You can able to just check in the clipboard or the tracer also. Directly click on the Obj browse page, then we should be getting one OOTB property called PX result count. If the value is 0, you can able to just use it for the validations, or you can able to use it for visibility or anywhere. Okay, so that particular custom page will be there, right? States list dot px result count is equal to 0, then you can able to show some message, or if it is greater than 10, or if you want to show some messages if it is between 5 to 10, like this. Based on the business requirement, we should be using that value as the reference. That is for Obj browse. Not only for the Obj browse, wherever we're using px results, we can able to use that. Suppose if you are getting some list using data pages, so ultimately it will also use px results like an OOTB page list. Even for that also there will be one there will be property like px result count. Okay, so that property will be holding the number of results. So we can go for validations with that property, but now when we're working with Obj Open, we have to identify which property will be holding that, and based on that we can able to apply the visibility and conditions. In order to identify that, we have to trace it. So whenever we're tracing this, we'll be getting few details here. So for giving the correct input, we are seeing everything as good, meaning Obj Open is also good. Now if I'm giving any bad input, we are seeing something like Obj Open has failed. So meaning there is no proper value assigned to this particular states. Okay, we are giving some dummy value, and that is the reason it is showing the fail. So we can able to see this everything like good, fail, bad, everything under one heading called status. So status is the one which will be holding the value, or which will be holding the result of that particular step, right? So for this particular result, status is good, and for this particular result, status is good, and similarly for this particular result, status is failed. Okay, so now this is the common thing. There will be one OOTP property for holding the status. So that is PX method status. So there is one OOTP property called PX method status, which will be in the code PEGA thread. Okay, this is important actually. So don't bother about this. So PX method status is the OOTP property, which will be holding the value of the status. So if we just check in the clipboard the value of PX method status, what will be the value for that? Any guess? So as I told you, PX method status is one OOTP property. Property should be having only one value at a time. Okay, it might be overriding in between. So after this step number 1 executed, PX method status value will be updated to good. Then after this step number 2, PX method will be good. Likewise, after this step number, 1 also, status method will be good. After this Obj Open, status method will be turned to fail. Okay, so currently if I'm trying to check for the value of the PX method status at this step, then it will be having the fail as a value. If you want to just check for the value of that PX method state after step number 3, it will not be having fail, it will be having good. Okay, so the thing what you have to observe clearly is, if you want to perform any of the validations or any of the operations, if the condition is if the Obj Open is failing, then you have to identify the PX method status at that particular step. Okay, so PX method status is one OOTP property which will be holding the value of the status for each and every step. Okay, if you want to identify the fail status of the Obj Open, then you have to capture the value of PX method status OOTP property at that step only. If you delay it, then the value will be changed to good here. Okay, and if you get the PX method status at this step, again value will be overwritten to good. From fail it will be overwriting, so you cannot able to make anything with that good value. If it is good, we'll be having these things displayed, and if it is bad only, we have to get this part displayed, right? Now we understood the concept now. So for that, what we have to do is we have to capture PX method status, and we have to put one when condition. So when condition meaning, in that when condition I have to write few values. When PX method status is equal to fail, I will be making the error message displayed, and when PX method status is equal to true, then I will be displaying the results part. Okay, so as I told you, PX method is completely OOTP, and there are many OOTP when conditions also linking to this particular method, particular property. We need not write any customized when conditions in order to just check whether this py step status is good or not. Py step status, py method status is either good or bad or fail. Okay, so there will be many OOTP when conditions. Just to monitor this value, that is PX method status, we have to just know that when OOTP when conditions. Okay, and we have to use that when conditions. Suppose if you don't want to use, if you don't want to go with that OOTP when conditions, you can able to create your own when conditions also. Why? Because we have already know the value of this property. PX method status is the value which will be holded in one property. Fail is one of the value which will be holded into that property, and based on that property we can able to use in the condition expression, or we can able to use in the when rules also. Okay, but we will not again create when rules again. PRPC has created many OOTP when rules. If the condition is good, it has created one OOTP when condition called step status good. So step status good is one OOTP when condition. Similarly, step status fail is one of the OOTP condition which will be just checking whether the Obj Open step status is fail or not. Okay, so apart from this good fail, there will be some other status also, like warn will be there, bad will be there. So based on the thing, we'll be getting the values. If it is fail, then Obj Open will be failing, meaning PX method status value is turning false. Understood, no? So in order to work with this requirement, in order to have this visibility, we need not create any when conditions. Ideally, we have to go for when conditions, right? That when conditions are already created for us by PRPC, that is step status good and step status fail. So ultimately we have to monitor one method name called, one property name called px method status. So this is the property which will be holding the value like good or bad or war or anything. Sorry, fail also is there. So likewise it will be holding the values. Now based on the Obj Open not working, what are we seeing this px method status value? We are seeing it as fail. If it is good, we are getting this value. If it is fail, we are getting this value. So meaning there should be one when condition written for this value. So if px method status is equal to fail, then I have to use one when condition like that. So we need not create any when conditions for this particular status and for this particular property. So instead PRPC will be creating few things like step status good. This is one OOTP when condition. Similarly, step status fail. So this is also one OOTP when condition. Let me show it. So let me copy this and show it for you. So open it. So this is one OOTP when condition, and what are we having the value here? If px method status is equal to good, then step status good will be true. This when condition will be true. Similarly, there will be one more when condition like step status fail. So if I just check for this is also one of the OOTB method, and here also they will be just checking for px method status. So if px method status it is showing as fail, then this when condition will be true. Okay, getting my point? If px method status is bad or anything, step status good will be failing. I'm trying to tell in the reverse way. So this when condition will be always monitoring px method status. If px method status is good, then this when condition will be true. If px method status is fail, then this when condition will be true and this will be false. Okay, understand now? If px method status is good, this will be true and this will be false. And if px method status, if any of the status is having fail, then this will be true, this will be false. Now what is the when condition we have to do in order to check for the Obj fail condition? So this is the condition. If I want to use this condition, I have to just check whether fail equal to true or not. So if it is fail, this will be true. If I want to use this, I have to just use this one condition if it is fail only, and if I'm using this, I can able to just check if this condition is good or if this condition is false also. For both of these things, this one condition will be true. Understanding, no, both of you?
Yes, sir.
Uma, Tulani? Uma, you also?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so there are already OOTB methods, and this is the method, sorry, this is the when condition what we have to use to make this part display or hidden. Okay, I don't think we can able to do it now. Shall we continue tomorrow? Or let me show you some other small thing. So meanwhile, let me show you how to create the error message. It will be taking some 5 minutes of time. Let us see the creation of error message as of now, and the visibility condition will be working in the tomorrow's class. It will be like bit tricky. I'll tell you tomorrow. Okay. So first thing is I'm trying to create one error message. So error message, I'm trying to go for a paragraph rule. So this is also we have seen. I'm trying to go for a paragraph rule. Actually, these all condition. Sorry, these all OOTP when conditions. We have to use it in the activity, not in the section part. So I'm trying to display like no cust message. So I want to display some error message here. If the customer is not there, then what is the value that he's entering? That value has to be presented here and saying like this particular customer is not available. So the customer value what he's entering, that has to be captured. For that I'm trying to insert one property. I'm trying to give one some value like customer. So it should be of text input. So save this. Does not exist. Okay. give some styles for this and save it. So we have created the paragraph rule also. This paragraph rule has to be called here at the bottom. So I'm saving it now. So in tomorrow's class, we'll discuss how to put the conditions for this here. So that will be very tricky. Why? Because we have to use the step status fail and step status good in the when condition. Sorry, where is my activity? So do you know all this, Uma? Anytime did you get a chance to work on this Obj Open with these conditions?
No, I don't have, but right now I'm
Sorry.
working with that creation of
No.
tables.
Sorry. I thought of checking with Tulani on this. I think she had some little experience on PEGA, right? So I thought of asking Tulani. Sorry for that. So here, so for this when Obj Open, you have to put those when conditions here, not in the visibility for this particular sections. So this will be tricky. In tomorrow's class, we'll discuss how to put when conditions and how to use these jump statements. Okay. So here in jump, we'll be having many other things to be discussed. So how to jump from one step to another step, or how to apply the conditions, and based on these conditions, how do we make this visibility to be true or false? Okay, whatever the thing we are doing like visibility, so this should be hidden and this should be visible, right? That values has to be defined dynamically from the values of this px method status, and based on this we have to capture the value of px method status at the obj open step. If I just take the px method status at page copy or page remove, I'll be getting the values good only. With that I cannot able to do anything. So I have to capture the px method status of this particular step, and based on that I will be assigning one value here, and that will be making either to be hidden or visible. So that will be important. We'll discuss that tomorrow. Clear? Any doubts?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. So Tulani, did you come across these concepts anytime? OBJ open with this?
No, Sandra.